hands here. You don't have to blow up the spot with thumbs downs. I wasn't supposed to still be on the screen. Peace out, y'all. Hey everyone, and we are back with another episode of Acting for Beginners, and yes, we are live. I am Danny Guevara, or Danny G. I understand Guevara can be a little hard to pronounce, but if you can pronounce Kardashian, we can pronounce Guevara, right? So thank you guys for tuning in, and those that are going to watch the replay, thank you for playing the replay of the show. Like, comment if you're on YouTube, subscribe, share this video, and allow the other inspiring or aspiring actors to hear what we have to talk about today, because we have a lovely guest with us today. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please, this is the place to ask all of your questions, and we shall get to them as we see fit within our conversation, or we may get to it at the end, or one of us will get back to you if you comment below. So let's get back to our guest that we have today. Wow, we have another acting coach. I've been doing some research, and she has a lot of knowledge. I was snooping around on her YouTube and learned quite a few things myself. She is the founder and artistic director of Screen Actors School. You know what? Let's hear what she has to say about even the title, Screen Actors. This is going to be pretty interesting. So let's I don't even know if I said her name. I'm just talking so fast. I said what she does. She's the founder and artistic director of Screen Actor School. But let's give it up for Casey.
Hi, thank you. I love your intro. I love the bloopers. I bet you that makes everybody feel so comfortable when they come to watch your show when they're new, and it's like, am I supposed to be here? Yes.
I try. I find a lot of times that when I'm in whatever field I'm in, they like for me to work with the beginning group that's coming in, because I guess I do kind of make everyone feel pretty comfortable, and then they go to the sharks and the wolves after me. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. This is really cool for me. I have I had a dream. I still have a dream of my clients working with Tyler Perry, who is where you are. And one of my clients was just in Atlanta working on Sisters. So that was pretty cool for me. And he didn't tell me until after. You know how you're not supposed to tell anybody until after?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God.
Like, that's what you were auditioning for? Yes. So we will definitely get to talk about your clients, but we want to know about you, because this is Acting for Beginners. I always get the question of, how do I get started in acting, or just how do I get started? So let's hear your story, because we know everyone's story is different. So Casey, how did you get started in this industry to where you are now?
Well, like you, I was raised by my father and other people. I got around, had lots of different people raising me. And my dad didn't have any money for babysitters. So I went on the road with him. He was a Christian pop musician in Canada. Hi, Piper. Nice to see you. Piper, is that Piper that I know in Canada? It is. Oh my goodness. Hi, Piper. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Piper. Thanks for coming.
So we got on the road. We were on the road doing music, and I can't sing or dance, and I'm too fat to fly. So it was kind of like, where am I going to go? I guess I'll do theater. I went to theater school, and prior to that, I had been in a car accident that had left me partially paralyzed. So when I started auditioning, when I was in theater school, it's still there a little bit, but not as bad, but I was kind of crooked. And at that time, this was in the 80s. So at that time, producers were even more sexist than
Mm.
than they are now. And people would say things like, she's kind of funny looking, she's kind of lopsided, that kind of thing. So I let that get me discouraged, which, now I'm just sort of like, do not let the bastards get you down. But
Yeah.
at the time I was young and vulnerable, and I just I let it hurt. And I didn't build from that hurt. I didn't let the rebel in me come out and tell them where to go. So I started coaching my friends in theater school, and they started booking. And from there, yeah, it was like, I think I might be good at this.
Yeah.
And then, because I was very status oriented when I was young. I didn't want to be a coach. I wanted to be fancy.
Uh-huh.
So I tried being a director, and I directed some stuff, and I didn't like that as much as coaching. And then I was a casting director, and I didn't like that as much as coaching. And then I was an agent, and I didn't like that as much as coaching. And then I just thought, oh, I guess I'm going to be the lowest on the totem pole, but what the hell? This is my spot. So I just started coaching, and I'm very proud that I laid the foundation for spectacular careers. I have a spot in a beautiful world, and I love it. So
Yeah.
that's my origin story.
Wow. You know what? That's amazing though. Even though like you wore all the hats, you casting director, you wore all of them. So even though you didn't like them, you know about them. So you can tell those actors like, okay, this is what casting directors look for. This is,
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
directors look for. So that's amazing. And then even like, I wouldn't say it was a downfall, but you say you got in a car accident and some
Yeah.
things happened and that, made you go into a different direction as far as, coaching, but you found out even from that incident, like this is where I want to be.
This is my niche. This is the place that I like to be. These are my people.
Hmm.
My people, I don't have I'm pretty tough, I'm pretty strong, but
Yeah.
I don't have the personal strength that actors have to go into for audition after audition. I have a different kind of personal strength, but
Mm.
I'm full of admiration for actors, and I give everything I have to my clients because I want them to, well, I live for their reflected glory. If they're doing well, I'm doing well.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And you did something well.
Yeah. Exactly. I feel like I have some meat. It's a tremendous thing to take somebody from at, not even actor, from amateur to actor, and then from actor to the lead in a series. Or the lead in a movie.
Mhm.
That feels incredible. Like it's a very, very powerful feeling to have, that you can be part of someone's life that way. And the emails you get are not bad either. Like, thanks, I live.
Yeah. Yeah. So working with these actors, I saw that you worked with or you work with some award-winning lead actors.
I
Um,
do.
yeah. So are they award-winning leads before they get to you, or it's like that you help them get to that?
Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, but mostly. So my story is a bit weird, but I about 10 years ago, I decided to move to the country. So I live on a farm. So I've been coaching one-on-one online for about 10, well, even more than that. One of my clients was in Australia doing a show, and in 2008, and I coached him via Skype back then, and for an audition that he had in LA. So I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, but usually with people that I've worked with for 20 years. And then so I take them from like a baby to like, a teenager to an adult. So, and along the way, I help them make the steps that they need to make in order to get where they want to go. But I had a very small client base for a really long time. And I was intensely happy working with these people because you see into their souls and you get to know them. And I work with extraordinary people. Like the client that I'm talking about, Caleb Worthy, he worked with Al Gore on climate change in the Paris Accord.
Hmm.
These are like, he worked with Bono on the rights of girls and women. So these are fantastic people with big hearts and big souls and a lot of love and compassion and drive. And these are things that, for me, that seeing into the soul of the actor helps me move them forward, you know? But when COVID happened, I started doing free classes for actors just like you do. And then it sort of took off, and I realized I had a system that I could teach that multiple actors, and it would be useful for them. And so I just started doing that. And it's been phenomenal. Like I have a client, she's 15, and she's the most lovely thing on earth. And her name's Mariana. And she's not famous yet, but she won a $250,000 scholarship to go to a very prestigious school where many Oscar winning actors have gone. It's called Interlochen. If you're, you know, rich as Rockefeller and you can afford to go to that school, you can go. But what happens is, many times my clients they'll get into Lambda, they'll get into you know, all the fancy schools, and then they'll come back to me and they'll say, okay, I'm ready. Coach me, coach. I'm ready to go. So that's pretty much been the journey for my clients. They start with me, they go to swishy schools, they come back to me and they say, okay, coach, can you teach me how to audition? And then they do, and then they go forward. But some of them, it's just me, like Madeline Arthur, who is like in the #1 film in the world on Netflix. I was her only coach. She's had other coaches since then. My friend Jennifer, but you know, other people have coached her. But that's the route that we've taken, is, you know, getting really intensely into the structure so that they understand it and can move forward.
Wow, that's amazing. That is definitely amazing. You, yeah. So I'm giving you your claps and your flowers now, because that's awesome to even to have that under your belt. You have the proof that your system, it works. Your coaching,
Yeah.
it works. You have the proof. We're seeing these actors on Netflix. We're seeing them, and I tell a lot of people, like, because they ask, like, I'm talented. I'm talented. I don't have to coach. I don't have to get training. I'm like, football players train every day.
Oh my God! Did you? Are you in my head?
Maybe.
Yeah, my dad was a football coach, so I coached drills, just like a drill. Actually, the other coach that I really like is a basketball player, LeBron James,
Uh-huh.
and he's. I don't know if you may not be a fan of basketball. I am. So he drills. He's got, like, I think 50 drills for just how to shoot, like just how to.
Yeah.
If he's doing that, the advice I give actors is turn pro right away.
Mm.
Schedule your life, schedule your practices, do your drills. Then when you get into the scene, you fly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Small, smart, risky steps every day.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. Like, yes, I definitely agree with that. So do you coach online? Is that
Only online,
all
because
right?
I just recently got internet at home. I live off the grid, so we had like satellite internet. So right now I'm in Canada, and I'm on the Sunshine Coast, which is a very pretty area on near Vancouver. Do you know where Vancouver is? There's a lot of production here. So a
Yeah.
lot of CW, a lot of Hallmark, a lot of Netflix stuff here. And I think Netflix is building a studio here. So there's a lot of that. So I'm out of town. I'm about like 8 hours driving from Vancouver, on a little farm in the middle of nowhere. So I'm now currently in town in a hotel, in the basement of a hotel, and I do everything from this little basement studio I have in this hotel here. And it's
Yeah.
just absolutely wonderful.
Well, the internet connection is great, because you know how this online thing could be.
Oh, I do. Yeah, the person who owns the hotel is like my work husband.
Okay.
So he sets me up so well. Hi, Kelly. He might be watching right now. No,
Ah.
yeah.
Okay, so we are going to take a quick 1 minute break. So if you guys want to go run and do something really quick, you may. Remember that we're watching and looking and reading the comments. So don't be afraid to comment, send your questions. Now that we have Casey right here, so anything you want to ask her, go ahead and ask. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Quick commercial with we'll be back with more of KC. Acting for Beginners Live. Wednesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Do not just read.
We talk about acting, the do's and don'ts of acting, how to get started in the acting industry.
It on social media, Mandisa? Why? Stop it. Stop that emotion.
We also have special guests, casting directors.
Oh, my bad.
Actors.
I'm a very comedic person. My father says that to me.
Producers.
Sometimes.
That's what I'm doing as a director. I'm not
Directors.
teaching you acting. I'm teaching you how to use the tools that you already got.
Acting for Beginners with Danny.
Acting for Beginners Live.
Acting for Beginners Live.
So tune in every Wednesday.
Fire, 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 flames, flames, flames.
Acting for Beginners Live.
See Acting for Beginners anywhere. And my name is not attached. Please let me know.
Acting for Beginners Live. I got you.
Okay, and we're back. I told you that was going to be a very quick commercial break. So now we're back to talk more with KC about just acting. What we love to talk about, especially being a coach, you have to love to talk about it, right?
I absolutely love it. I could go on forever. It's too much.
Yes. So now let's talk about some, I guess, let's see how you feel about breaking down scripts. Like, people think they could just jump in and just memorize lines and just perform. But why is breaking down scripts important? Or what do you think about breaking down scripts?
Well, breaking down the script is important because you have to know where you are and what you're doing. You have to know who you are as well, but you may have a little bit of a handle on that. So when you're looking at a script, going to the lines immediately is about the worst thing you can do. I recommend that you read the story first, prepare yourself knowing the story entirely, because if you don't know the story, then you're not going to be able to support the story in an accurate and compelling way. So read the story, know the story. I have a little template for helping actors understand the story, and it's very easy for you to understand. So you use the once upon a time storytelling technique. So once upon a time, there was a person like this. Every day she coached actors. One day she was asked to be on a show with Danny. Because of that, she got up early, put on her clothes, and went into the office. Because of that, she was ready for the show. Because of that, she did an interview until finally she told people about how she breaks down scripts. So once upon a time, character who does something all the time. One day there's an interruption of life. Because of that, because of that, because of that, until finally. Now you know the story. So when another person comes in to interrupt the story, say it's a teenager, the daughter of the coach, for example, comes in. The teenager in all movies where there's a middle-aged woman as the star is going to be the pain in the ass. So you have to be the person who's providing the conflict to the star, if I were the star. So knowing the story helps you understand what your place is in the story and helps you behave in the way that you need to behave. But even more than that, there's a breakdown. When you get your audition, there's a breakdown attached to it. That breakdown has information from the story Bible that the writer has created and that the executives have vetted and said, yes, this is the way, the truth, the light. You follow this as if you're following the word of God. So in the breakdown, the casting director has said the character is this kind of person and they're going to have this kind of arc. Immediately, and this is my biggest tip for all of my actors, immediately you show the character. Casting directors, myself included when I was one, casting directors will turn off the self-tape or whatever it is that they've got of you within 20 seconds if you don't catch their attention. So you need to immediately show the character. Immediately show the character. You need to do an emotional change immediately. Before you even speak, they should know it's you. Before you even speak. So that means within those 20 seconds, there's 5 seconds where you're showing who your character is. And then you're showing the rest of it. So I recommend doing a full who am I, where am I, what am I doing, what do I want, all that kind of stuff for the first 5 seconds and then the first 20 seconds. Then casting will watch your whole tape and you'll be powerful. You'll be very powerful. So breaking down the script like that really matters. Following the casting director's breakdown really matters. That's the way I train my students, and I make them drill it.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you guys, she just gave you a free class right there. So please go back and rewatch this if you missed anything and take some notes. That was amazing on how to break that down. Do you do improv also? Because you really came off the top of, the head with the example of you coming in, doing the show with me. And
I've been doing this for years. So
yeah.
After 25 years, you know what you're doing. You have a little sense of it.
Mhm.
And also these are the 5-second rule and the 20-second rule and the once upon a time are my techniques. These are the things that I've created. Once upon a time, obviously I did not create that, but that was a technique I used to help my clients memorize scripts quickly because the logic of the story was then in their head. So then the logic of the lines would come very easily. I'll post this in your site if you like. I can post
Yes.
the techniques.
Yes, please do. That would be very, very helpful. I'm sure the community, the Acting for Beginners community would love that. So let's talk about the emotional connection. You have the script breakdown, the story, which is very important. I'm glad you mentioned that when you know the story, the lines will come, because I get that all the time. How do I memorize lines? I'm like, if you know the story, the other character will say something that's going to trigger your line. It's going to come, just know the story.
So true. I like what you said about the other character too, because if the actor is responding to the other character, if you're in the moment responding to the other character, then you're going to have something authentic and interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So what do you mean by emotional connection? Is that the same thing as that connection with the other character, or an emotional connection to your?
Well, emotional connection to yourself is the thing that allows you to connect to other characters. So there are 3 ways primarily that actors connect to emotion. One is very common and extremely dangerous and not effective, but it's the one that people use most. And that is using your life to connect to emotion. So it's an as if, or it's like an as if, like as if this was my experience. So if I'm playing someone, for example, who has been kidnapped, and I've been kidnapped, that is not a good thing to do, because you will A, heal from your experience, and B, re-traumatize yourself. And there are enough actors out there who are drug addicts and alcoholics and depressives and all that kind of stuff. You don't need that, especially when there's a safe and much more effective way to connect with emotions. So the 2 other ways to connect with emotions, which are much safer, much more effective, are through your breath and through your body. So the way you move your body, the way you position your body, and the thoughts and the emotions you have allows you to create the emotion over and over again. The way you use your breath, like the fight or flight response breath, for example, where you're like, so if you do that, your body gets into fight or flight response, and then you're ready to go. So that kind of work, I'm giving you one example of it, but there are multiple different things that you can do to create that emotion through breath. That kind of thing helps you connect with emotions in a very clean way. And I say clean because when you connect to a past story that's traumatized you in order to get emotion, or that's your experience and may not be traumatic, but then you heal from it, or you get catharsis in some way, so it's not as powerful. When you connect that way, it goes away. When you connect the other way through body and breath, it never goes away. You're always going to have your body. You're always going to be able to breathe. So you can do that repeatedly. You can cry repeatedly on set. You can cry after 12 hours of shooting the same 5-minute scene repeatedly. That's powerful stuff. So emotional connection to yourself allows you to respond to the other person because you are open and connected to your emotion. There's a fourth way actually that's really good too, and that is music. If you have if you can put your earbuds in or just listen to music before you get on set, that's another powerful way. And then of course there's diary writing. But if you do this, the story that the character's in will be the story that you are living. But if you use your own experience, you're living your experience. That's why you'll see muddy, sort of self-involved, pretentious acting where the actor is really crying, but the story isn't about that kind of tears. They're crying from their life, not the character's life. So if you cry from the character's life using breath, movement, story, music, that kind of thing, then it's just going to be so much more powerful, so much more authentic, so much more effective and beautiful.
Yeah.
And castable.
Fantastical. Oh, castable.
Castable. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastically castable. I was like, what, like, I had you on the full screen. I'm just listening. I'm like, I don't want to interrupt any of this. This is just so amazing. I'm just watching. But you mentioned body and breath. And I know I've heard a few casting directors, and I've used this myself. And I'm just only mentioning this because I know you said, going off the grid and you like to farm. Farming as far as like crops or animals or just the whole.
We have 100 chickens, and we have like a huge garden, huge vegetables. It's my husband's farm. He does that. I do this.
Okay.
But yeah, he does chickens.
Yeah. Okay. So then you mentioned body and breath. I've heard some not casting directors, but acting coaches say that you could take a character and it can be like relatable, or you can compare it to a snake so that you're
using animal work and that
kind of... How do you feel about that? Do you...
my thinking is by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the Malcolm X kind of cast or acting coach. You do what it takes.
Yeah.
So if you have to use an animal, then you have as much fun as possible. Like the snake thing is really great. If you're, depending on what you're playing, or
Mm-hmm.
a bear or any sort of animal, those are great as a jumping off point.
So if in the description they're like, this lady is Piggy, what would you tell this actor? Like, they want this person to be Piggy. What's the personality? Or
as I'm a huge fan of pigs. I know a lot of pigs myself. But if they're looking for a pig, they're looking for, oh my goodness, this is a great lesson actually. If they're looking for a pig, they're wanting somebody who is gluttonous or who wants too much, So there's this lesson that I teach, and this is very powerful actually. I think your viewers will like this. It's called the I take lesson. And when actors are kind and generous, they're also like total assholes, but most of the time they're kind and generous and they want to be giving. And a lot of times they're missing out on booking because they're letting the other guy get it. Mm. So I teach this lesson in greed. And it's like, I'm into benevolent kindness and giving, but I want you to take the lead. So I teach actors to take. and then put it right in your pocket. Make sure you wear pants with pockets and put it in your pocket. Take and take and take and take and take. And that little pig is going to take. And they're going to be like, take. I'm taking opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm taking opportunities. You can take your opportunities. This one's mine. So when you go into an audition and you're ready to take, and you actually do this physical movement, if you try this now, you take this physical movement, you take it to your stomach. Go ahead and try it. Take. No, that's wussy. Come on. Take.
Taking it.
Take it. It's a lead. It's a lead role that you want. Now take it, and it's like candy. It's like, oh. Or for me, it's like garlic. Oh, it's good. Good. Taking it. Take it. You feel it in your belly. So that's that little pig. So when you're walking into any room, you're going in, you're looking for like, oh, I want some cheese. I want some, for me, I'd want bacon, but pig, maybe not. So you would look for, what does that pig want? I want this. But I don't want just this. I want lots.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, man, you just like really just filled this live with so much knowledge and information. I wish we had more time. I need to look up the I Take lesson myself, and you guys that are watching, you need to as well. Before we go, could you please tell us where we can find more of your information or how we can contact you? Or
I have a Facebook group. It's called Screen Acting School, and you can see me there. I do live classes Monday and Friday at 12:30 12:30 PST, so different for you guys. But they're all recorded. You can see them. Okay. And I've got a little gift for you. I've got an emotional connection workshop coming up. So I'm going to put a discount. Thank you. I'm going to put a discount into your group. So it's going to be a coupon code that only your people can use to access the workshop. And it's all about the emotional connection stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And you do have a website. You guys can go to www.screenactingschool.com to see more of Casey. She's on Instagram, YouTube. Thank you for being here, and the Facebook group as well. Wow, this was amazing. I'm going to watch the replay myself. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Piper, for filming in. I see Piper does films, but thank you, Piper, for tuning in. Ashley and everyone else that is watching. And again, Casey, thank you so much for joining Acting for Beginners with us today. Okay, so you guys, we'll see you again next week.
Bye.